Oof. Right, so I suppose we should start off then by watching this.
There you have it.
So, Rosetta. So we're going back to Tails.
Ethan, it is your first look
That's
at
why I
the
want to
next
open some
Flesh and
Tails.
Blood set.
I already know it's a Wizard and Runeblade also.
What comes to mind, Ethan? Anything triggering for you?
Briar.
Briar. Okay.
Well, yeah, because of the Rosetta
I
Thorn.
understand, Evan. I understand. That's probably everyone's first Ronic of the history. Or this go around. It is a.
Okay, so it's a 258 card set with an asterisk again, which is interesting. That is actually... Why would it be asterisked? I do have the page open as well. Do they mention why it is already? Japanese language, Rosetta has the Arcanite Skullcap and the Shock Charmers. Ah, okay. That is kind of a clever way to do it, right? So any high-value reprint, they can just sort of fit into sets when necessary. That is very interesting. Yeah. Shock Charmers, so I was curious about this, right? So Shock Charmers, I don't remember if they saw a whole lot of play. I have the database open, though I want to keep it on Fuse cards. I can't quite remember what Shock Charmers do, but obviously you had Lexing arrows rather than arcane damage, and next time an attack action card you control hits a hero this turn, it deals 1 damage to them. So why this is curious, right? Because we have attack action cards. So while we do have a Lightning Runeblade and a Lightning Wizard, it's one of each, right? That sort of implies that the Wizard might still get use out of them, which will be interesting if they go for more of a, you know, sort of Spellblade-esque Wizard rather than, you know, what Kano or what we've seen so far. I was thinking about it, and both Runeblade and Wizard sort of fall to the same sort of categories like Illusionist, where it would be entirely difficult to create a unique feel in just, you know, generic slot, right? Rather than give them an element or a talent specialization. So I do think this was definitely the right call.
200.
24 marvels. Okay. So it's 8 heroes. That still leaves 16 marvels. So it's still hugely more than Heart of the Mistveil. Right? Where it was 11 without the heroes. So there's a whole extra set of 6. So is there going to be some sort of underlying, you know, mechanic similar to Transcend again? Something like that where they can blanket common a bunch of marvels? I don't like that, in all honesty. I don't know how far they've fallen, right? And I don't know if they will fall at all. But, you know, it was one thing just to have marvels as the high rarity of cold foils, but it's another thing to sort of just, you know, completely usurp cold foils. And yeah, I don't know how I personally feel about that. God, what's Stir the Pot will do? Has Stir the Pot fallen much? So I think because of the quirky art, this was also one of the higher ones. It has dipped, but not immensely. I mean, it's still falling, right? But the fact that, you know, we'll have a most likely a huge set of common marvels is just kind of degrading the whole, you know, one a case, right? 15 expansion slot cards designed to boost draft back to 3 packs, right? So that tells us there's no underlying mechanic, right? And then, no, sorry, 8 packs. So it is still sealed 8. I was looking at the wrong thing. So there might be an underlying mechanic.
That usual breakdown of all the good stuff. We're looking at a fabled.
I'm just going to look at the slides. I'm not going to listen too much to the announcer or anything like that because, you know, they throw in a lot of buzz and I'd rather make my own opinions. So it is a bundle again, right, with the 4 decks this time. a nicer playmat, in my opinion, right? Very nice art. I think it should always, match everything, right? Again, they use the old Misval art for the mat.
as well. I cannot.
All right, we do have a few cards. So it's still the 3-week cycle, right? So 4-week cycle. Previews, world premiere, pre-release, release, and then actual playday events. So, I don't know. We're going to have the same issue again where you have this happen, and especially because this is closer to the bigger season, a lot of people will want the cards. I mean, heck, at the world premiere, I assume they're going to go crazy because, again, it's at a major event, isn't it?
We're not.
And that's first card, Felling of the Crown. So, Decompose, new keyword. If there are 4 more Earth cards in your banish zone, this gets +4. So, we're still looking at big Runeblade when it comes to Earth, right? Again, I don't know how these are going to sort of, mesh up across the two, because they've gone Earth and Lightning only, right? And obviously this doesn't seem like an effect that Wizard really cares about. So Decompose, when this stacks, you may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard, and an action card from your graveyard. Banish 2, so it has a hefty cost, that's fine. If you do, each hero puts a card from their hand on the bottom of their deck. So this affects you too, right? So that is definitely more balanced already.
From their hand on the bottom.
Then we have the actual hero, Florian. If there are 4 more Earth cards in your banish zone, gets if you would create 1 or more Aura tokens, instead create that many +1 of each of those. So it seems like they are sort of going to hammer home banish zone for Runeblade, which is interesting. So you get to create 1 or more. You get to create 1 extra of an Aura token. So, I'm trying to think if there's any, big auras, right? Similar to Guardian, but I don't think there is. So I think that's just doubling up Runeblade, Runechant tokens, maybe. Germinate, Specialization, create a Runechant or Embodiment of Earth token, repeat this process X more times. So create half the cost, and then you also gain life equal to half the cost +1. So some nice sustain. Sizable amount of tokens, so then also go into Runechant, Runegate, sorry, not Runechant. God, I'm not that versed with either Wizard or Runeblade, unfortunately. But the Embodiment of Earth is nice too. The fact that it's all, right, so you can just create 1 Embodiment of Earth, and then all your Runechant tokens that you want, and that's probably the best way to utilize it. So I do think that's a really nice card, right? It's already blue with 3. There's also the teaser art, right, on Reddit. The Marvel Heroes, Elemental Wizard, Earth, most likely. Heartbeat of the Candlehold, another spec. Gain 3 life in 3 separate instances, so that tells me there's probably going to be some way to increase that. So Earth is going with either make things big or gain a bunch of life, it looks like, as the new gist. Hey Andrew, find the Runechants that represents the casters. Yeah. And hey Echo. It is nice to see the old art. There was a... I don't think I grabbed them from Riddler's Discord. Right, there was a green one and a lightning one. Wonder if they'll retroactively make like a shadow one. Channel the Millennial Tree. Go again when it enters the arena at the beginning of your action phase AMP. Now is AMP... I can't remember if the explanation for AMP was... Is it under the syntax? I don't know. Was just AMP any value, or AMP specific values being arcane damage. I think it was AMP any value, so the idea is this sort of affects life. The next time you deal... Well, this says next time you deal arcane damage. But I feel like they went back and they noted on that in one of the reprises, right? That AMP was going to be more universal. That might just be my headcanon to try and make it work. I don't know why I typed in AMP. Oh, no. Is it? Is it in this one? The Fork Lightning? Control F, AMP. Effect that. No, so it's only arcane damage. Yeah, okay, so that's... I mean, it's useful for the class. And I guess Wizard wants it too. I wonder if there'll be another keyword, right, to go with life or something like that, because again, there seems to be a lot of life gain. Has Mordred Tide always on, which is the create 1 or more tokens. Yeah. And it's not that hard to get up to, and it's not like you're spending the banished cards either. So it's as soon as you get to that. I suppose the question is, how hard will it be to banish Earth cards to fulfill this requirement? They're not saying anything that goes into that strictly well, besides for, the one card at the start. What was it? With Decompose. But if Decompose is, readily available, then it's super easy. Alright, Heartbeat, Saw. We have the weird mech elemental, which I saw Riddler question what are they going to do for the add-on. I think it's further in. Alright, then we have Aurora. Once per turn, instant, pay 2, create an embodiment of lightning, so go again. Activates only if you played a lightning card this turn. Essence of Lightning. So yeah, I'm very curious about this. They do have a giant-ass sword, so it's going to be a way more aggressive, attack-focused, sometimes ping. Which, the problem with that, in all honesty, is what... I was going to say this is Wizard. This is not Wizard. The giant mech is Wizard. Never mind. It fits perfectly for Runeblade, right, in that case. Yeah, it does make me curious what the mech will be. I feel like they should have spilled one of each, not Runeblade. Yeah. But so we have the mech, which is cool art. Again, what is he going to look like grown up? Rusted, maybe? Towering Colossal? Is there any more cards? No, I think that was everything. Alright, so then we have the actual page. So, yeah, I'm very curious about this. The 5 legendaries, it's probably going to be one for each, again, and then one generic, right? Because there's no overlapping. I don't see them doing one, oh, Mech maybe Lightning Wizard. Yes, no, he's definitely the Lightning Wizard. So each of them a singular element, right? The caster did spoil that. Again, he just building buzz. Nothing against him or anything like that, but we are just trying to get straight to the point as I stammer about it. Right, so we do know we have Earth Runeblade, we have Earth Wizard, we have Lightning Runeblade, and Lightning Wizard, which again, I don't know how Lightning Wizard is sort of going to feel, because they're going to sort of overlap very much with the Runeblade, because they're just going to be, again, more attack-focused, sometimes arcane damage type hero, which is, again, a curiosity, how they differentiate that. But yeah, so the 5 legendaries, right, most likely, I'd assume it's one specialized for each. But I could also see it being one Runeblade, one Lightning, one Earth, one Wizard, so that's still the 4 and then one generic. Either way, right, each character is most likely getting one specifically tuned to them in some way or the other, or I guess 2. I guess that'd be a great way to jumpstart it. Majestics rares, the Marvels are still making me really curious, right? Because 8 still leaves it at 16, and 16 Marvels is still 5 more than Misfail. So, yeah, what's going to happen with them? So still 16 cards, that was to be expected. Still 8-pack for sealed, which is great. Still the same price point, nothing's gone up. 8 iconic cards from Rosetta available in extended art, Rainbow from eligible stores while they last. I believe this is all the channel cards, because they're the spoilers that have been throwing around, right? Although they don't have the promo variant, so they're actually in set. My daughter wants the Lightning Runeblade, I'm going Earth Runeblade. There you go. You just split the box down the middle. You get anything that gets shown as Earth, and she gets anything that's Lightning. You just fight over the generics. So the channels are not Marvels, which would have been my expectation with the number of Marvels, because, again, they're usually landscape-ish full art anyway, so these being Marvels would have been kind of fantastic, but they look to be just EAs. So we saw Millennial Tree, we didn't see Lightning Valley. The first time you deal damage to an opposing hero each turn, draw a card. God. This in Lexi is insane, right? So she's getting nice hefty stocks for Living Legend. And then Channel Lightning at the beginning of your turn, so it's the normal flow counter shtick, where you put a flow counter on it, and then you have to put one Lightning card or Earth card from your pitch zone into your deck, bottom of your deck for each flow counter. When do you put it? What step? Destroy this unless you put at the beginning of each end phase. Yeah. So, this and Lightning, being able to cycle, draw, and do all that, I'm curious how long this can actually stick around versus Earth. Earth usually gets spent up rather in 2 to 3 turns. But pretty insane. Now, I did want to look at all the fuse cards. I should probably put the music back on since we're no longer watching videos. But we have Ice is definitely problematic. So I can fully understand them just pushing it to one side and not trying to handle ice just yet. Because ice, for the meta, was absolutely horrible, right? I think everyone absolutely agrees that ice is just a terrible time. It just takes control way overboard, right? In the amount of shutdown and effects, it's worse than whatever Ranger can do currently. I mean, if they made an Ice Ranger, I think a lot of people would probably quit at that point, because that would just be absolutely horrendous. But what I do want to look at is the other fuse cards. So Earth and All, these still functionally work, right? All elemental cards still functionally work. You can put them in any deck, right? You just can't trigger, one half of them. So attack action cards you control game going in is still a massive, massive effect. And again, it makes me curious overall, what the payoff for Lightning Wizard is going to be, because I would assume they're not going to overlap with Runeblade and give it a whole bunch of attack action cards. So they seem very incompatible with what Lightning was and what Lightning is going to be. Whereas Earth being either the Decompose effect or the life gain, right? Decompose and buffing is definitely more in Runeblade, and gaining life as a wizard, being more of a stally, tanky wizard, seems interesting. But Lightning just seems kind of confusing. Earth main shtick was buffing, Lightning's main shtick is go again, but we do have, cool stuff like if Flash Freeze was fused, again, or with Lightning, attacks you control this turn if this hero deal 3 damage to them, right? There's some cool effects that could see some interesting use, but then there's also, just really high value cards that still exist in Tales, unfortunately. All the arrows obviously are obsolete, but yeah, I think just leaving ISO aside is definitely the correct move at the moment. I mean, actually, Lightning could be a great way to, chain together non-attack action cards too, because it's just blanket, right? There's definitely some merit to that. I don't remember anything that really stands out. Because a lot of them are specs. Yeah. I guess the main issue straight away from Tales was the dual elements, right? Again, being able to have a control hero, then also has huge attacks with Earth, was just absolutely stupid, right? I think we can all fully understand and accept that. I think the main reason Shock Charmers has gone up so much is because they've made the point of noting this, right? The Japanese language will have Arcanite Skullcap and Shock Charmers. So that alone says that LSS value it insanely, right? That they feel the need to reprint it for the Japanese print, right? And I can't remember, but I don't think they were played much in Lexi, right? But yeah, it's to be fully expected. Pretty nutty. Again, it's cool that just with one flip of a switch, basically, LSS can turn obsolete cards into, super great value. But we still have, Stravo, Guardian, 1/3 of the set gone. Well, Ice Wizard as well. Curious what happens with that. And even in saying that, this return to Tales does not, automatically make everything in Tales valid again, right? There's only so much overlap. So, yeah. It's interesting in how they'll handle, again, making or reactivating sets, right? When it comes to anything talented, it's going to be a difficulty, right? Like with Draconic and Miss Val, what just came out, right? I could see them really not trying to return to them for a long, long time because they are so specialized. Whereas this did have a much more reaching impact because it's A, early, and B, wasn't sort of its own bubble. It was more, these are the heroes and these are the extra thing. Whereas Miss Val is, to me, more so, they're all mystics, right? They're all their specialized form. Draconic, same thing, they're all Draconic, right? I don't think of them as Ninja first, I think of them as Draconic first, if that sort of makes sense. But yeah, a lot of cards are obviously going to go up. Tales across the board is either going to go up itself or be immensely open. I mean, I'm planning to open some now, right? See what we can find. Maybe we pull Shock Charmers, maybe we pull another Spellbound Creepers. Either way, we'll get something good, right? Because it's all valid again. I do like the other, sort of bait and switch. Arcane said is in the pipeline. Tales will come back at some point. Here you go, just have them both at once. I do think this is the solid Arcane set, in all honesty. Right? Again, thinking about it, I don't quite see how they strictly do just a normal, or, you know, like 2 extra wizards along with Klloo. Was there anything else we missed? We already looked at the cards. Glad there's specs as well for Shiner. Again, there could have been fun to be had with Miss Vale. Ways to play, the world premiere, Rosetta Sealed decks, cooling, then Battle Hardened. So yeah, so this is my issue, though, right? These cards are going to be insane, because everyone already thinks, you know, Elemental is top, right? And it kind of is. I mean, Lightning is still going to be a very aggro-y deck. You throw in Arcane, and the fact that you have to disrupt, or you get to disrupt, your opponent's entire equipment board, and I think Wizard Lightning is really going to run away with it, if not Wizard Runeblade as well. Because again, if you can take aggro, and then you can also devalue everything your opponent has, because they have to swap out this to Arcane Barrier, that to Arcane Barrier, it's gonna be great, right? Yeah, Elemental Hero LL any percent. Take 2, basically. It will definitely be longer, right? Again, taking out half it does have an impact, not a huge impact. More so with Earth, because it was just the ability to absolutely stall your opponent and then throw out something massive. But Lightning, Arcane, it's just, unless there's, you know, something insanely new or Arcane Barrier, right? Or Arcane Prevention, which I think, again, my personal take on how to handle Arcane is just cards that you can pitch away that have Arcane Barrier when they're in their pitch stack, right? So you have one piece of equipment, you start off the chain, you pitch something that has this new keyword for Arcane Barrier, it goes onto the pitch, and then while it's on the pitch, you can pitch other things for more Arcane Barrier, and that way you can use the resource in your hand to defend, and also to build up and prevent more and more Arcane damage, without having to completely take a, you know, different board. World Premiere features stunningly beautiful extended art, the Heartbeat of Cradle as well, so I'm curious where the Marvels are going to be, right? What cards? I don't think we see the first Marvel equipment. Release is week after, right? Again, it's the whole 3-week cycle. Another 8 promo pack. Includes 2 Rainbow Fall copies of each signature weapon belonging to each of the 4 heroes, so no Rainbow Falls in sets either. It's fine. Expansion slot has 15 new cards. But still around the same. Not a pool. No sort of details about what they are. That's fine. Yeah, and 24 Marvels. How does the Majestic stack up to par? Miss Val? 43. So the set should be about 30 cards bigger, because that's usually how much is devoted to one hero. But it's not. It's only... what is that? 19? 19 cards bigger? Interesting. Commons, only slightly more commons, only slightly more of everything. Yeah, the main extra cards have gone to the Marvels, but then the Marvels should overlap with something. There's no real tell, right, what the Marvels could be. Obviously some of them will be Majestics, but we might get, you know, just rare and common Marvels again. Anything else? Curious if Arcanite Skullcap's gone up much. I've never pulled one from Everfest, despite opening a lot of Everfest, so I guess I should be kind of lucky, right? Better thing we should actually do is look at Arcane Barrier. Even if they put like Spell Void on cards or something like that, where it's just discard to prevent, could be interesting. Okay, so what I'm curious is, what is best in slot? And what you see straight away is Wizard and Runeblade have a lot of their best in slot pieces have Arcane Barrier. For everyone else, it's in some senses taking a detour, right? In fact, there's not that many at all. You have the new mech stats, right? Which again, you have to find in your deck. Spoiled Skull is a happy alternative, so that's fine, that's only one piece. Obviously, you have to swap out your chest or something, right? Something has to give, because one Arcane Barrier is not going to cut it. I think Ranger is probably looking the best, right? Again, Runeblade and Wizard already have a ton built in, but Ranger has always had a lot of Arcane Barrier. But yeah, Skullcap is still going to be necessary unless they print something. Which obviously, if they're putting it in the Japanese boxes, they want Skullcap to come back into play. So I don't see them printing other headpieces with Arcane Barrier. All you have is, again, the Northern set, and what a lot of classes really need, and I could honestly expect the expansion slot to solely be majority equipment, where it's Arcane Barrier, plus Majestic level effect, right? So that other classes have acceptable pieces to transition into, that then also can provide Arcane Barrier for the correct matchups. But, enough of that. I'm going to open some tails. See what we can pull. Leave it on TCG player. We'll open tails again. If Dusk Till Dawn is anything to really understand, right? So when it comes to them retouching on sets, is they want overlap, but they want it to be majorly focused on the new set, right? So don't buy too crazily into tails going up, because a lot of it will still be relevant, even more so than Monarch, because again, 1/3 of it still isn't being touched. A lot of the synergy or the payoff being, again, dual elemental cards is not a factor in the set whatsoever. But the legendaries are obviously still great, same with the Fable. I'd like to see the Fable go up more, because I think it's really beautiful. What was it? When a hero reveals a card, so Fuse, I assume Fuse will make it back. Either way, there's still enough Fuse cards for you to take. Gain 1 resource or 1 life. The next attack this day gets +1. The next attack action card they defend with. Then add Sunset. Depart if no heroes gained anything. The fact that we've seen a lot of life gain on Earth cards, I think makes this really playable in Earth, right? And as just a nice way to shore up, especially resources and doing heavier, bigger things. So I would expect this to rise up a little bit. But, anyway. No ice. Oh well. No ranger. And I don't think this means we'll get a ice ranger. Again, I dread to ever see that in play. That just seems absolutely horrid. With the amount of, again, debilitating arrows available. Okay. Let's crack some tails. So, we were fortunate enough because we did one... was it last week? A few days ago? Whatever it was. We did get Spellbound Creepers, which I would assume is also going up immensely since, we have 2 Rune Blades. And actually, that's interesting. A little bit of a dip, but we'll have to wait a few days to actually see what it comes up to. Last sold... Alright, they were sold today for a few dollars more. I think it's been on the rise ever since, we got that mention of Arcane. But if you also didn't know, Wizard and Runeblade were the least touched upon classes. So it is definitely valid for them to have their own set. I was expecting, like Illusionist to come back or something in that as well. Because, Dromai does fit the bill. Alright, cut this open. I should probably double check that I've grabbed the right one. It's Tails. Alright, let's see what we can pull. I'm also curious, again, the most intriguing part of the new set is Lightning Wizard to me, right? Is how they're going to make Lightning Wizard feel unique. And is it just going to be insane burst damage? Because that's Lightning's whole shtick. You don't worry about playing something instant, just give everything go again. That type of feel. Alright. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Just realized it's like red for lightning. I guess because it would just overlap blue. We got one. So what are the bad hits now? Your Horizon is still fantastic. Guardian Shield still is decent. Crown of Seeds. Crown of Seeds is still banned, though, isn't it? Right, because it'd be too insane. Let's reread what Crown of Seeds does. Once per turn, put a face-down card from your arsenal on your deck, draw a card, and prevent the next one damage that would be dealt. Doesn't seem like that's too impactful. Need to keep, like, a list somewhere. All the banned cards from each set. I mean, yes, I know. I know I can just go to the website and find one. I mean, like, whenever I open boxes, so I can just go, Tails, what's banned? What do I not really care about? There's also a chance for us to relook through some of the cards. So I guess what we'll end up doing is I will keep the valid cards. Right, so ice can go away. Well, actually, I don't want to sort this many cards. We'll just look through a few, right, to see how they're going to feel with reprints. So again, Lightning Surge is being a nice, aggressive card. But we have, you know, a lot of other cards that, if in the arsenal, they're a bit bright. I think it's fine. Gains go again, so that's not insane. Anything with Fuse, right, again, just being able to reveal from your hand. Especially, again, remember these are single element focus, meaning your deck, your chance of hitting cards for fusing is way up there. So when it comes to Lightning, I do think that's going to be kind of crazy. Figure 8s, next attack you Fuse, get +2. If they don't bring back Fuse, those type of effects might not be that valid. Turn Timber, Fulminate, right? So this was one of the ones we were looking at. If it was fused with an Earth card, this gains +3. No, attack action cards you control gain +3 this turn, right? So that's pretty strong. Again, without the sort of benefit, though, from Lightning and the Go Again. I don't know if that sees that much use in Runeblade, though Runeblade has other ways to, you know, garner Go Again. If Fulminate was fused with a Lightning card, all action cards you control gain Go Again. So that probably will see play, see use. Don't care about Ice at all. Ragamuffins. And then we go to the back. Yeah, alright. I think we'll just go in on the rare cards. Autumn's Touch, big earth cards. Icequake, not useful. Embolden, not useful. Hoya, not useful. Let's see again, yeah. How they stack up. Good luck to come. As we don't really get anything super fantastic. If Evergreen's played from the arsenal, put it on the bottom of your deck when the combat chain closes. So with Decompose, that sort of reuse effect is sort of out the window. There has definitely been some sense of, you know, design change. And Inspire Lightning. If Inspire Lightning's fused, deal 2 arcane damage to target hero. I mean, we'll probably just see stronger cards. I don't think the foundation card is necessary anymore. I do think it's either the rares and majestics or just a lot from the new set with the core cards of each class. Sigil, Oakenold, put aside, but it's not useful because it's Guardian. Turn Timber, just extra block. Anything else of interest? Alright, Explosive Growth, Earth Fusion. If it was fused when this would deal damage, attacks you control, gain +1 this combat chain. Whenever it deals damage, attacks you control. When you attack with it, deal 1 arcane damage. Probably. Seems sort of useful. And Weave Earth, next Earth or Elemental attack action card you play this turn gets +3. If it's fused instead, yeah, same as that as well. I mean, I could see them trying to focus solely on the specific cards rather than Elemental. Because again, it was managing, you know, 3 or 4 sets of cards, right? You had single class cards, you had Elemental, you had the actual element cards, then you had fuse cards, then you also had the specific Elemental class cards, right? God, yeah. Tails was a big mouthful. Rejuvenate, some gain life. If you fuse this turn, you may play it as Zoro instant. Or Ice. Rites of Lightning. When you attack, if it was fused, deal 1 arcane damage to the target. If you've dealt arcane damage, you may gain Go Again. Yeah, so obviously, all the Runeblade stuff is worth taking a look at. There is no wizard, right? All we have is Ice. I don't know if we got any stock standard Elemental Ice cards, did we? I'm actually curious about that. or if it was all ice. Can I do Elemental Wizard? Okay, we did. But obviously Ice Fusion doesn't matter. So, by and large, none of these really matter. Unless they have super strong effects. No, because they're all, you must fuse. Were they still you may? No, they are still you may. Ah, so that means some of these could be run. Do any of them have crazy effects without the fusion? No, not really. I mean, you guys can't really see. Sorry. Yeah, definitely. Elemental is just a big thing. Either way, it will have some tendril with tails, which will lead to it being busted. Or just, again, the class combos. Because Lightning, keep saying it, Lightning Wizard is basically just circumventing Wizard's need for instant. And Lightning is meant to shore up all the go again. So how can that not be broken? And then not to mention just Arcane in general, forcing people to take lesser equipment so that they have Arcane Barrier or enough Arcane Barrier. What was Bramble? Earth Fusion. Next action card you play this turn. Did we already read this? I feel like we already read that. Oh well. Mystic did seem kind of crazy, and obviously we have KO at the moment. We have Azalea with just a plethora of debilitating arrows as well. So it seems like we are going through a power creep stage. As long as, you know, each set tops the next. It might not be overall healthy, but it will be fun. So we got Plume of Evergrowth. Pay 3, turn target Earth card or instant, or Earth instant, that could be good, from graveyard to your hand. Again, with Decompose, you're sort of getting rid of them. I don't know, again, how useful that will be. I don't think it's ever useful in all honesty. The common armor set will be the tell. Because if that's just where they're sticking, you know, some semblance of arcane prevention, then I'm worried. Again, I want the expansion slot to basically be equipment for every single hero that has Arcane Barrier, but then also a really strong effect. Similar to Skullcap and... Is it Skullcap? The two brute ones, right? Thunder Flash was Fuse. You may play your next no-attack action card this turn as though it were instant. So that's another thing that we didn't actually home in on, right? All of them are just elemental. So that means that whether or not you actually want the Fuse mechanic, there are so many cards that LSS has had to consider and think about. Because there are some cards that might just be decent with their singular effect. Because again, that was the big issue, is they just use the elemental tag. Looking at the cards that we did get. Where are they? So we have Earth Runeblade, Earth Wizard, and Earth Action, right? That's a correct step. They're not just blanket elemental. And surely that means the majority of cards will have to be as well. Now, we haven't really found anything decent yet. Awakening. Don't worry about that. Would have been a good card way back when. Force of Nature. There we go. So it's still a Briar spec. Hopefully, though, they continue to push Living Legend. I think it's valid to sort of push it over Blitz. But yeah, you add everything that's coming with everything that what was, and that's pretty insane to think about. Briar, Lexi, any element, any lightning cards that Lexi can feast on is gonna be nuts. New set kind of made me sad. I don't know. I wanted some semblance of Tails because it's so needed. But yeah, I don't know if there was ever a thought in my head about how to actually do it properly. and it will just be a mixed bag. Either they've gone overly conservative, which doesn't look like they have, or things will just be broken again. I feel like maybe Fuse should just be gotten rid of. But maybe it is. But then again, you still have the lingering impact where, you know, you can still take all these Fuse cards. Then out of curiosity, Joshua, what set were you hoping for? Because in my head, the Arcane set would have been... Lightning Press is a big one, though, isn't it? One or less now. In my head, the Arcane set would have just been Wizard, Runeblade, Dromai, in some sense. No specs or anything like that. Flicker-Wisp. Flicker-Wisp was fused at the end of turn, active perfection cards to deal arcane damage, instead deal that much damage plus 1. Deal 1 arcane to 1. I remember this being a horrible card to pull, right? Because it was just so cheap, and I have so many copies somewhere. Maybe it spikes. I like the art. I like nature and its aesthetic. I'm curious to see where they go with lore-wise, with the pseudo-necromancer that everyone has wanted, right? By way of, what's her name? Florian and her decomposedness. They could eventually spin her into a necromancer, where she's gone sick of decomposing Earth, and now she wants to decompose people. Something like that. Arcane set definitely has potential to be better, but then they gave us this. I think it was kind of a misstep to combine the two, because it is bait and switch, and one way or the other, you got to give it to LSS and their ability to buzz and hint at things, but then also still lead you astray. I do think this is it, right? This is Tails, this is the Arcane all set, right? Full stop. We're not getting a different Arcane set, we're not getting a different Tails set. So in that sense, to me, it is kind of a little disappointing. You know, every thought in my head was about these two big releases to come, when we finally revisit Tails and an all Arcane set. I mean, Decompose could definitely be a thought of how to run Necromancer. You have to banish specific cards plus one other Catalyst item, what it seems like, because it's Earth plus one action card. Suppose the elements, still Earth, so what to do with Earth? Put -1 counter on target equipment. That's not that great. And nada. So the first box, just a Plume of Evergrowth. Oh well. One way or the other, we should get a legendary at some point. I do want Shock Charmers to maintain, but I think they're a gorgeous piece, right? It's the only time where we've gotten equipment other than foot equipment that's really beautiful. Visually, color-wise. It's even more disappointing when the World Premiere I'm going to and I play none of these classes. Still, you gotta at least give it a go, right? I would, in all honesty, the singular purpose of trading up is just play the sealed, get your 8 packs, hopefully crack Majestics, crack something, and then just wait as people clamor to them. Because, you know, they have to wait 3 weeks. I think their release cycle is starting to annoy me. Because they're banking on cards being absolutely ridiculously priced at launch. Which is not a great fundamental way to sort of build their economic system. I just snagged a case of Aria Unlimited for 150 off eBay to celebrate. That's fantastic. What would that be? In Australia, like 50 bucks? No, it'd be less than 50 bucks a case. That'd be slightly more. 60 bucks a case? Either way, yeah, that's phenomenal. Like half price. I refused to touch Runeblade again since I play Chain. Just because I had everything for him, but was so miserable. About to quit Fab. Going to sell everything I can get, lol. Yeah. See, and that is such a shitty way, right? In all honesty, to run your welcome events. It's like fabricated hype. Because it's not people actually wanting the product. It is scalping. To some extent. It's people wanting the product to open, to sell. Done. Right? And then eventually, when they want to enjoy the set properly, they'll wait for the market to cool. I finally heard someone else say it, Andrew, because you keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying visit. God. Which way was the wrong way? Vizari. There we go. I'm going to keep saying Vizari. End of story. Alright, Tome of Harvest. Additional costs, put a card from your arsenal above your deck, draw 3. Go again. Fantastic draw. I'm definitely going to try and do something crazy with auras for the Earth Runeblade. Because I think next to Mystic, the Earth is some of the greatest draw as well. Which is definitely combo shenanigans. I just say Viz. That would probably help it if I just, did the first syllable. I can't go wrong with the first syllable of every class. Nada. There are not that many great Majestics to this either. We're not really getting anything. It's just the channel cards. I assume Tome is going to go up. And then just Ranger stuff as well. Yeah, just a bunch of R's. I mean, the tickets were the same as the... Well, it's still the calling event that was already going to be ran. No, it's not a new event, right? God. Really? No, but it's been going up for a little... Nope. That is all today. 6th. Wow, if you have a bunch of Tome of Harvest, they just doubled, basically. That's insane. Yeah, so a lot of cards are going to get that treatment. I would probably move old stuff. Right, I should go through my tales and saying that. Within this week. Then wait for the actual release. With 4 hours from Tampa, so I'm 100% going. I think it's just calling. Do I still have the thing open? Well, it probably says on the page, no? There's a calling and a battle hardened, and the world premiere. So if you play in all 3, you get a box worth of packs, right? That's my understanding. Also, sorry, I'm too high up again. Just that little box, right? So you can get a box worth of packs if you play in all 3 days. And then, sell them then and there. Is there any... place at the Tampa Bay Convention Center. No links to tickets or anything, because usually they have the world premiere. Go with it. I guess because it's in the US, they're not too big on, or they don't have to do that extra legwork like they have with the other ones. That, fill you in on how to get there. If you make it a day 2. Yeah. But that's just potential, right? To get so many packs. Again, you get to enjoy the decks. But there will be a number of people who just do the first event, right? Because it is open entry. Yeah, it's a world premiere, it's open entry. Who will just do the event, get their packs, compete, and then sell the cards. And again, just like Miss Vale, you will have them going for absolutely ridiculous prices. Ice Storm has both. If Ice Storm was fused... Oh, it's an arrow. Mind. So I don't know how I feel about that aspect of the game going forward. Heaven's Claw. Still no cold foil. Hopefully it's not at the back and I keep missing it. But I don't think it is. I think it's always that slot. Me? No. I'm in Oz. I'm in Oz and I'm in Raw Oz. I go to 0 events, unfortunately. Because there is no store that carries it around me anymore. Thing of Sorcery. Attack cards you control game when this attacks, deal 1 arcane damage at the beginning of your end turn, destroys it. Yeah, so that already sees play. Continue to see play, most likely. Even if it was in Sydney, I still wouldn't go, because that's, well, a plane ride isn't horrible, but Sydney is expensive as, Cold Fall too. Well, of course Cold Fall, god, this is first edition. Getting brain rot from opening random sets. I'm just gonna do that while I talk. So even if it was in Sydney, I still probably wouldn't go, unfortunately. I'm gonna put down. Yeah, what was I saying? Even if it was in Sydney, I wouldn't go to the event because it's still either expensive as plane ride, right? Because we just canned another airline because we're fantastic. We refuse to accept foreign aid, but at the same time, if you're not the big airline, our government's not going to do anything for you. So the cheapest airline just got canned. The cheapest airline that flies near me as well just got canned. Right down in rural. So I'd have to drive to Brisbane, which is already a 2-hour drive with no traffic. Then fly to Sydney, then stay in Sydney. And again, hypothetical, it's not in Sydney. But even if it was in Sydney, it still wouldn't be worth it to me. Alright, we got the pretty. We got the cold foil. Koshem. I call it Crossroads. I'm horrible with phonetics. Yeah. Half of Tails is still useless. Nothing for Lexi, right? Nothing for Ice, nothing for Guardian. But they managed to still make all the big stuff worth it. Right, so I mean the case in point, Tome of Harvest, which I already have a lot of anyway. Kind of seeds. Tome of Harvest has doubled since the trailer. Right? I don't know how far on the screen we can see. Up here, right? So, oh, that sucks. What you can't see is all the sales before here that were $2, $1, $5, and it's now, going for $7 to $10. There is definitely stuff you want to hit in Tails. I mean, Spellbound Creepers, we got last time, is definitely one of those cards. Shock Charmers, with the simple fact that they've mentioned it being reprinted for Japan. Fantastic owl. I think all the owls are kind of decent, except obviously Heart and Crown. Because I think Crown was banned. I can't remember. There's definitely stuff you still want, but yeah. Its actual connection to Tails is hardly any. So you're not wrong about that. Leaves. But, I mean, the fact that we opened the Fable probably makes this worthwhile. More or less. One nice little pretty Crossroads. You know what I'd love to see? If the Fable was... What's her name? I've already forgotten. Like, rotting the tree. Wouldn't that be cool? Thematically as well. It was just her as the Fable with the tree behind her. Instead of burning, just rotting. That'd be kind of interesting. So you guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about since the chat has stopped functioning. Shall come back. Broken old, redundant. But what I would expect them to do, in all honesty, just to be a bit more flavorful, the Armory deck coming out right when this happens, I don't expect it to be Chain anymore. There was the little nod in the posts about what's her name. Aurora. That's actually an easy one to remember. having a bit more of a player start role, right? So I either see her being part of the first strike decks coming in August, or her being part of the Armory deck coming in August, right? Armory deck 3. Or I could see them reprinting Oldhim or the next Elemental Guardian as the Armory deck. That would be my best guess. So there might still be some validness to Guardian card. Obviously, just pure speculation. But I could see them doing Ice in simply a structured deck, right? Where they can 100% control whatever it is. Nada. Yeah, third Armory deck. She also had 2 different artworks, does she? I mean, this compared to the, it's weird, to be honest. Weird artwork for the Marvel. Compared to what the face card is. But I think the pose is still the same, though? Or is it completely different? Are you actually, I think you're right, thinking about it more now. I don't think they showed her anyway here. No, I'm gonna have to open the YouTube again. Oh, what was it? Was the Nationals. Go to YouTube. Go to history.
Get it there. Make sure you do not miss that.
It's cut off, but I do just want to double take the art. It is. You're right. So this is her young art, no? And that's the adult. These adults, no, that is young. You are absolutely right. So she has 2 weird artworks. Still 08. Curious about that. Yeah. There you go. Good spot. First strike deck, probably. I can see that being the case, yeah. Because they are the introductory products. And they made the point of saying it. Which then, again, I was thinking Visette for the third Armory deck. But now I'm thinking, since it's double Runeblade, that we get Oldhim or Elemental Guardian. Fables are alternative art also. What are we trying to hit? At this point, I don't know, since we got Koshim. I guess just the legendary of the deck. I've never once pulled a New Horizon, but I guess that kind of gets overshadowed by the set. So I guess New Horizon or Shock Charmers would be the L we want to find. The Marvels could be alt art. Were the other ones different too? God, why didn't they post all the pictures that were released here? Now I have to open it again. This is me and my habit of closing tabs as well, to blame. Are they all different? Because I know they showed Robot Guy and Disney Girl as they are as Marvels. But was Florian different as well? Now that you mention it?
Exciting ability on
no. No, her art was the same. Yeah, so her art is the same. What number was this? Where is she? 6. That's the Marvel art at 6. Her normal art. God. Where is it? There. Either after or before this.
Lightning hero that we're going to reveal now. It is Aurora. Yet another elemental runeblade. This is the young version.
I can see them reprinting the majority of Hales cards. Because we are definitely getting to the point where the majority of the common and rare slot is going to end up being reprints one way or the other. Okay, so she's number 8. So Marvel is 6. I assume the Marvel is 7 as well, for young and old. So weirdly, we have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Most likely 9, right? So yeah, I'm guessing there's 2 versions for every hero. That would make sense, right? Fable 0, Florian 2, then what's 1? Because that's young as well. Florian 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6, 7 for Aurora, then 8, 9 for the other Aurora. That's confusing and something worth digging into, though. I'm showing a lot. I've already read that. Yeah. There's definitely the elemental staples, and there's no reason for them to flood, right? And nor, realistically, what is there to design differently? And that would also explain, right, the Marvel count, wherever it was. So it being 24. If instead of it being 8 heroes, it is weirdly 16. That leaves 8 Marvels, which is a bit more realistic for a set that doesn't have, an underlying transcend mechanic like Miss Vale. So maybe it is 2 for every single hero, which is fantastic and something I want across the board. I want every hero to have different, art. But yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit with Aurora. Now Heroic has gone up immensely, has it? I think I have a lot of them hanging around too. There were so many Tales Marvels that... Majestics, not Marvels, sorry. That I had just... No one gave a shit about. Just in a box somewhere. Yeah, it has spiked immensely. Insane. It'll definitely be used, probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Earth Guardian just becomes... Sorry, not Earth Guardian. Earth Runeblade just becomes Earth Guardian. I mean, Briar was basically just doing big stuff anyway, no? She wasn't really doing... Well, she was doing a little bit of Runeblade stuff. There was mainly the big attacks and the ability to ping that made her kind of good. Yeah, it's definitely worth holding on to cards. One way or the other, they bounce back. Never count a Majestic out. Alright, still no Al, so keep going. But we're also getting new channel cards too. I guess that's kind of like the flavorful thing for Elemental, is the flow counters and having landscapes on board. I think the Earth Wizard might be extremely tanky. Yeah, it looks like she will probably have Earth and... embodiments of Earth, and then a decent chunk of life gain. Which again, I think feels really cool. That's a unique style for the Wizard. But Lightning. Lightning is the odd duck, because it's just basically going to be, here's your go agains instead of making stuff instant. Right? Or Spellblade-esque, in which case it's kind of just, well, Runeblade at that point. We'll read what Steep is. Parapet. Maybe it becomes a goaded block card. Whenever you play an action card, you may pay 1. If you do it, gains go again. Yeah. That sums up New Wizard. Right? It's just basically everything has go again. You don't care about instant. I mean, think about it. What if you could play this in Kano as is? Would you? I probably would. Alright. 2 M's. Endless Winter. Nada. Then Blink. Gain 1 action point. Again, circumventing instant. I mean, it's basically, instead of the... what's it called? The gloves. For Wizard. Would you rather the extra 1 damage, or would you rather the action have go again? So yeah, I think this probably should spike a lot more than it is. And will probably be banned from Wizard, if I had to guess. I'd like to see more alt art, like channel length Bridget. I think that would be cool. Right, you can see the landscape in 2 lights. No L, no M. Gotta be in here somewhere. Nada, nada. Nada. Flash freeze. What was the lightning effect again? Just if this hits, deal 3 damage to them. No, if Flash Freeze is used with a lightning card attacks you control this turn, gain if this hits 0, deal 3 damage to them. I mean, that could be interesting. Again, it's one of the... Code of Frost. The cold foil. Yes, we're opening that last box. But yeah, Flash Freeze is one of those examples where, again, the and/or fuse cards still being valid, despite only hitting 1, right? I mean, just a blanket effect to deal an extra 3 damage seems kind of great. Especially since lightning's usually low cost, aggro, go again. Oh, pulse. Lightning 2. So your next lightning, ice, or elemental attacks gain +4. So I'm curious about that, right? The dual class cards. Can you run them? Could Icelander run this? I don't know what the legality of that is. Lightning Press, Winter's Grasp. Yeah, making 4 plus embodiments first seems fun. Do I stack? I always just envision it as a 1 sort of mechanic. Where you only need 1 on board. Because if they do stack, then the new card that got released is pretty crazy. Embodiment of Earth. Yeah, they do stack. Alright, so the create Rune Chant or Embodiments of Earth is just insane. Channel Link Frigid. Doesn't matter, it's ice. They do stack. Yeah. That also opens it up for you to take a bunch of less optimal block cards and still do insane block. Ugh. Hanky. Maybe we should just move to the last box. And more Tide as the passive for the ability. Super tanky with a bunch of Rune Chant. Just another basic stall until you have enough Rune Chant tokens, maybe? What's necessary? You can also pitch 2 blues into it and make 4 of each or 8 of 1. So a 3 block for 11 just seems crazy. But yeah, so my initial thought was basically just do that, right? You make 1 Embodiment of Earth to shore up your block, and then you make a bunch of Rune Chant. That's it. But now you have the fact that you can take a whole bunch of Embodiment of Earth, or Rune Chant if you want, right? Get all your Rune Gate cards done, or any of your other discounted cards off of Rune Chant, and go crazy like that. Yeah. So far, 3 of the 4 definitely seem OP. Again, tanky wizard is interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily OP. Lightning wizard, where you just take the generic wizard cards and somehow give them all go again. Insane already. Or you just take new cards and they, again, have go again, rather than doing wizardy things. Insane. Earth, Runeblade. Super tanky. Super big. Yeah, Crown of Seeds needs to stay gone. And then you have Lightning Runeblade, which also just seems bonkers, because again, it's just, what does Runeblade really want? Well, more ways to get go again. Last box. Do we get our legendary? Well, you can. Just go play Living Legend. The nice thing too, though, is a lot of heroes seem to be able to fit into Living Legend. I mean, then with stubby hammerers, I think it's very overlooked. And I don't know if they updated the policy, though, for like the skirmishes and that, but can't you still just play any hero you want in Living Legend? It's just the fact that no one's restricted. You don't actually have to play a Living Legend hero. Alright, starting off with nothing. Yeah, I definitely... Earth Wizard, I don't want to undersell that, right? I'm interested to see how they handle Lightning Wizard, and don't just make it completely bonkers. But from taking, you know, a class out of its comfort zone, I think Earth Wizard is definitely the most intriguing, because it seems like it will be a unique thing. I do think Stubby Zen will be crazy. Oh, we got no Sigil stuff, right? Carapets was wasn't it in Spam slot? I can't remember where Carapets showed up. I wouldn't be surprised if Earth Wizard had no HP. I wouldn't be surprised if all of these had Kano HP, in all honesty. I think that's another way to sort of rein in Elemental. So Fulminate, if it's Earth, attack action cards gain +3 for the turn. Great. And then again, Lightning. Attack action cards gain, go again. So Fulminate being or doesn't matter. Sure, it'd be fantastic if you could double dip, but I still think that's strong enough to play either or, right? Nada. Just want our legendary. Hey, surname you. I do have a Discord channel. You can usually find in the descriptions of anything. Or, I would always just, if you're here watching me do anything with Fab, bigger advocate of Riddler Man's Discord. Right? Definitely more Fab focused and more active. Might be an L this case, which is fine because we got the Fatal, but I would like an L. Crosslock, not useful. Into... Nada. Alright, half to go. What do we get now? Bellblade, Earth or Lightning? Not a Briar Spec, right? If it was fused, it gains whenever this deals damage to an opposing hero, you may banish a non-attack action card from graveyard. If you do, you may play it this turn as though it were instant. If it would be put into your graveyard instead, banish it when you attack if it was fused. So again, no, but it's Lightning and Earth. Okay, so Blossoming Spellblade doesn't work because it's not or this time. It's and. There are some that don't really work. I think Ice will round its head with the Armory deck, maybe. Right, I can see them doing Armories doing Oldhim as the third Armory deck, and that way they control how Ice gets reintroduced. I think it was definitely the best decision they could possibly make, not reintroduce Ice. I think Ice, from the majority of players' standpoint, is probably the worst archetype to play. So, I'm happy about it, I guess. I don't like cards not having any use whatsoever in the game, though. I think that needs to really be addressed, and their whole development cycle should really be built around being able to return cards to play within a timely fashion, and I don't think Tails was handled in a timely fashion, in all honesty. But I do understand the no Ice, and I'm happy about it. An Ice Ranger would have been horrendous. And yes, you can unfortunately get no L cases. You can still get no L cases, technically. It's very less likely because of the Rainbow 4 pull rates. But definitely pre 2.0, you could get absolutely horrible cases. But Tome of Harvest, there's going up. That's good too. But, with that said, we're not getting an L-less case because we're getting a Ronald Buckler. Oh, never mind. Make that a mark of a cool. Foil Channel Mount Heroic. That's good though. Right. We're now in this pack. Nope. Now in... Nope. Yes, no. Well, that actually probably sells it, because that's the cold foil. So this does seem to be a... L-less case. Oh, good call on the times. Yep. Unless it's in this very last pack, that means it's a double cold foil case, which is even less likely than a no L case. Dun dun dun. Oh, it's an amulet. So yeah. An L-less case, but we did get the Fable, so guess that's to be expected. Right? But yeah, if you're opening old stuff, nothing is safe, so to that extent, while it's better to buy cases, I guess you can feel better about not buying cases, maybe? What I do have, though, somewhere, is we had 2 boxes left from last time, which we might as well just crack now, anyway. Do want to neaten everything up, get rid of the cards as best as possible, go back into their crusty boxes. Well, I wouldn't call it impossible, but it's definitely more current in old pre-2.0 stuff. I would not say L's are guaranteed. I would say they're highly likely, but, you know, chance is chance. There's definitely a more prevalent thing. You could, in old sets, you could sort of work it out though, right? If you got a certain amount of Majestics, you weren't going to get a Legendary. You got a certain amount of Majestics, you would get a Legendary. That type of mentality. I guess you could say they were sort of trying to make them more balanced, right, in what you got. So if you're above average for Majestics, no L. If you're below, unfortunately. There's definitely more guaranteed, right? So I think that's why they try and keep Legendary, Rainbow 4 Legendaries slightly shorter than once a box. Or I should say L's in general, once a case. You can, if you throw in the cold foil odds and everything like that, it will work out to be less than a case. Mist at least feels a lot more busted. My LGS got 1 case that had 2 full art L's and 2 marbles spread across the 4 boxes. Yeah, but remember, they got that, someone didn't. Which is the problem. Overall, if you do sort of ponder it, fab pull rates are interesting, we'll go with, compared to most other games. Because even the expansion slot, which was highlighted to be, you know, designed for improving play. You think about how hard it is to get full sets of X cards from that. Is it really designed for play? I mean, the cards are, yes, but are the pull rates is what I'm trying to say. Do you think M reprints might happen? I'd say unlikely. I don't think M reprints would happen, no. Not unless it's like an additional product. Legendary equipment makes sense because they always have that lesser version to go with, right? They can always print a non-foil in anything they want, right? In the Japanese set, right? It and the Arcanite Skullcap will be non-foil. But Majestics are basically just flooding the market if it's in a main set. If it's in a supplementary product, like an armory deck, a strike deck, or anything like that, that's completely valid, right? I would wholeheartedly expect any Majestic is fair game. Just as it is technically fair game for a set, I just think them and their philosophy and their mentality, everything they've shown, they wouldn't print it in a set because it's adding a huge amount to the market, right? That's the way to think about it. Alright. 2 more boxes of tails, let's just tear through them nice and quickly, I think. See what we can get. Although, actually, what I did want to look at quickly, I do have my spare, or some of my spare Majestics here. I was curious, I went to look at my Tails cards. I can't remember where Tails is, it should be one of the bigger stacks. Bingo is Everfest, right? Think of Sorcery, there we go, that's Tails. This isn't as many cards as what I was thinking. But I'm curious how many of the, like, Flicker Wisp and some of the other cards that might have validity. So, I can put down safely. Do we have anything of interest? None of these are sorted, though. Bunch of Flicker Wisps. Yeah, and just a ton of Flicker Wisps. Awakening, that's never coming back. Well, there are some Tomes of Harvest and some channels. Which is nice, because I can go through these, and there should be more somewhere else. And start moving some of these cards. Which is good. Yeah, nothing of too great interest. It is nice that you can get, you know, multiple high chase cards in a row. It creates bigger highs, but also you got to remember it creates bigger lows in that sense too. Which I suppose for people who want or have, you know, a what's the word? Predetermination towards gambling. Then it makes sense. You want the bigger highs to capture them. And then there's no point having those medium highs for people who are already smart enough to just buy singles. Do you think getting some boxes might be worth it right now? I would say right now. I would expect them to go up more. But it depends for what purpose. Do you want them for opening the set to lead into the new set? Do you want them to try and chase stuff to sell? If you don't have any Tails cards, I would, yeah, in all honesty, you can probably still find Unlimited for fairly cheap if you just want cards to play with. If you want to try and chase stuff to sell in this moment, I wouldn't bother, right? By the time you get into the cycle, it's going to be over, right? Because you'll be chasing it. Yeah, if it's for your enjoyment, I would fully expect them to continue rising. So your best bet is probably to try and get them into it a little bit now. I don't think you need that much, but there are definitely some interesting cards, because you got to remember, right, in this booster pack. So, still valid, still valid, still valid, not valid, not valid, not valid, not valid, still valid. Well, you know, technically still valid, but not in the set. Ice, not valid. Elemental Ranger, not valid. Elemental Guardian, not valid. Yeah, So just like that, half the pack is still not relevant to anything. So you gotta keep that in mind, right? And the same will go for the big pulls or anything like that. It's not a perfect 1-to-1. It's worse off than Dust Till Dawn to Monarch. But if you've never collected or opened any, I always think buying, like one case is the best way to get the majority of a set. And then going for other stuff. Right, going for the specific things. And you never know. Elemental Guardian could come back. Elemental Ranger is a curious thought. With what they've done with arrows and like outsides everything, I don't expect Elemental Ranger to be that high on their board. Hey Nolan. He usually gets all playsets of like commons and most rares within a case. At least from my own pulling. If Oldhim does end up being the third armory deck of the year, which again you sort of gotta mince their words, but James White said armory decks next year will be introducing new heroes, and technically Oldhim, isn't a new hero, or Stravo if they go Elemental Guardian, right? So if Elemental Guardian does make an appearance in the strike decks or the armory decks, Tails will go nuts. Because at that point, everything is kind of relevant. And how prolific Elemental Guardian once was, it will, to some extent, be enough to again, make Tails go through the roof. But yeah, if you're looking for boxes, buy now, right, while the hype is just starting to build. Cool. An M. That's a little bit better. But, unfortunately, Winter's Wail is another terrible card for play. Again, it's just... if Ice was pitched to play it, Winter's Wail gets, if this hits a hero, create a Frostbite token and then control. No, it actually seems better. I can see them doing Elemental Guardian, but doing Stravo with just Lightning as the armory deck. I think Ice is just too detrimental for the meta. Because again, this is just... if this pitched, it now not only pressures 4 damage, which requires most likely 2 cards to block with, but then Frostbite token. Frostbite tokens are a nightmare. It said though, the box is a waiver price in my country. Average box is $100. I think I'll pass. Yeah. Though, if you do want, keep it in perspective. No Flesh and Blood set has ever reached, aside from like Monarch, the price point LSS specifically set out to achieve, right? No single box goes for the recommended retail price any place. Which I've always found is so funny. Because I don't know why they either bring it down and say that, or they, try to double down and rise up the box prices. Because the thought that always enters my mind is any new store that grabs Flesh and Blood. Oh cool, this pamphlet says I can sell a box for this price. Oh, wait. No. What? 20% less? Oh, okay. I didn't expect that. Right? That's the mentality that, to me, goes through people's minds. And that cannot be healthy. If they're trying to get the game to develop in new areas. I wonder if Blink has gone up, because Blink for Wizard is also another insane card. It's just mind-blowing to me. Compared to every other game. This is a recommended, this is what you sell it for. Flesh and Blood, just knock off, again, a ridiculous amount. Considering it's on the second page, I don't think Blink has come back. Blink seems really up there for Wizard. I think one thing that sort of shapes people's mentality towards Wizard is they think instances are, less of a premium because of Kano. But it is just Kano and instances. not, you know, wanting to hit them with your ability. But it seems like a fantastic card for a Lightning Wizard. Straight up to the action point. Are we ever going to get something good? That's the question. I complain, but we did get Spellbound Creepers last time. And we did get something in that pack. We did get Caution Crossroads this time. So is the all pick bad, good stats, but insta kills off toxic. No, that's fine. You're more than welcome to ask about Soda Dungeon. So for other people reading, it's probably a bit confusing. The ore pick is fantastic if you're mining ore. Other than that, yeah, it is pretty redundant. In most cases, you don't want to actually one-hit ore. Because it's a slower animation if you're clearing rooms. You want everything else to die. And then you go to the next room if it's a natural spawning ore. You don't have to defeat the ore. Seek and Destroy Foil. That could be nice. I do want that for Riptide. So even with Brody doing numbers with Azalea, I think the main Ranger cards are still just all the debilitating stuff. I mean, Seek and Destroy is good. Random question. Can an Earth Lightning hero run? Yeah, no, I literally asked that just before, Felipe. I don't know what the ruling is on that. You know what? So this was a double Cold Core box. Which is also kind of rare. Kind of good. What we can do is go to Talishare. No, not Talishare. Go to Fabry. And hypothetically, take one and see. Although I assume they're not up yet. There we go. We go Icelander. Blah, 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 blah. And then we're looking for the Pulse cards. It is Pulse, right? Pulse of blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think it's Pulse. Either way, it's not showing up. We got one before. Yeah, so it's Ice Earth, which I guess means it has to be Ice Earth. Which is kind of better, because it means all of them are still out of play, and they are pretty strong effects to have lingering. But the fact that Icelandia can't have it in her deck is probably telling enough, right? Because she's been around for a while. Just do it again, just in case. If I spell it correctly. Where it went. Did I lose it already? Yeah, so no cards come up. For her. Which I think is the correct reading into it. Right? You can't have a talented card in a non-talented hero, even though it has, you know, Ranger on it. Yeah, I think in rationalizing that, we could have come to the correct conclusion. We just thought about it. Well. Yeah. Seek and Destroy, there's a Terra Sunder. They don't really fit the bill, because they're just, like, random things. Even Bolt and Shot. Never occurs to me that it's from Tales. I'm like, was that Everfest? This is... what's this? Yeah, this is a new box. That's Cold Foil for that box, but it's near the top, so again, we might get two. So another tip gold boxes. Usually if you had one Cold Foil up the top of one stack, right, in the box, you kind of have a decent chance of another Cold Foil down the bottom of the other stack. Once again, a decent amount of M to start. Nada. Another Bolton shot. Does make me wish there's like a collector product. I shouldn't call it a collector product. I don't want like a overpriced product, but something where it's a bit easier to care through the number of packs. There's just so much waste here I don't care about. Crosslock, ice. Nada. Still no M. Maybe there's anything else I really wanted to find. Just be an L, but chance of that. Bit of Duskblade. Now, I was curious what weapon he's kind of carrying. Or not, jeez. Is it Duskblade? Kind of looks like it, but then it's got those jagged edges. Makes it a bit more thorny. I mean, I suppose it could just be Rosetta Thorn. Considering the set is. I could also, weirdly, God, how's it spelled? I'll just do Thorn. I'd say the Fabled being Rosetta Thorn. That'd be kind of cool. No, so it's definitely not that. So it looks like the hilt-ish, because you've got that windiness that could be part of the sword or part of the vines, similar to Duskblade, but then the blade being jagged kind of looks more like Rosetta, but even that, not kind of close enough. But obviously it being named Rosetta must have something to do with it. It's definitely not coming back in that version, that's for sure. Yeah, definitely not. I think they've sort of failed the signature weapon system. If one hero's signature weapon is just the signature weapon for the class, right? Which is, you know, sort of saying something about KO's claws. But yeah, Rosetta Thorn is not coming back as that. You know what? Rosetta, in that sense, could either be a person or a tree. Maybe it's another tree similar like Koshim. That doesn't go there. I don't care about foils. Maybe that's the Fable? Ah, yeah, I hate the signature weapon thing too. It takes out one of the big tool, plus they're not equivalent. I did have a big spiel about how, you know, sometimes signature weapons are tokens, sometimes signature, well, I should say common level cards. Sometimes signature weapons are majestic level. And that is not a good aspect. And a lot of times, you know, the weapons are more archetype dependent than class dependent. So removing it because one hero goes is kind of weird. It's like the dash pistol conundrum. Because all the other mechanologist weapons kind of really suck. They tried to do something with Symbiosis Shot. I think if that wasn't a spec, maybe you could see something with Data Doll with that. But yeah, no, I dislike the signature weapons too, in all honesty. Rosetta in the lore is the name of an order of spell weavers. Okay. That makes me lean more towards it being a tree. Oh, there's Terra Sunder. Well, in that sense, they could tie it back, you know. They created the weird lightning golem thing. They teach the new people. Maybe that's just why it's called Rosetta. Which Wizard Runeblade, Lightning Stable would you recommend picking up now to be a good position to play after Lightning Hero? Let us go through the M's. because I do not remember the name of it, but we've come across it a lot. Oh, actually, we can do it this way. We go lightning. So, the thing to think about, right? Again, I'm not a competitive player, nor do I play Runeblade or Wizard all that much. But easy way to think about it is what is the weakness of both classes, and you have Go Again being the really. What did I forget? Lightning. I forgot the end. We do want to filter. Shock Charm is definitely an interesting one. You can't filter, can you? That's interesting. You can. We do rarity? I guess you can't do rarity. That's interesting. The fact that they have, made a point of reprinting Shock Charmers for Japan kind of says that it will be relevant. I do find that kind of interesting. So none of the pulses matter, otherwise pulse would have been good. Shock Charmers is instant, pay 2, next time attack action card you control hits a hero, it deals 1 damage to them, right, with Spell Void. This seems kind of weird to me because it's not arcane for either. Channels, Flicker Wisp, Blink, and Fulminate. Fulminate, there we go, that's the one. Yeah, Shock Charmers is getting reprinted. That's the main reason people are speculating on it. It is... Oh god, I went too far. Here we are. Right? So the Japanese language is getting 2 extra cards, being Arcanite Skullcap, which makes sense, right? Again, it is in Arcane Rising, Everfest, both sets Japan doesn't have. It's crucial towards Arcane play, right? But then Shock Charmers, which is just a weird thing to add, right? So I think people are running with that it's going to have a super great relevancy to the set for whatever reason. Yet it seems kind of weird. I mean, I could see them making a different one that deals arcane damage. Or an inverse one. Every time you play a non-action card or something that has Go Again, deal 1 arcane damage. Spell Void is, it's not good. Cool, it prevents 1 more damage than Arcane Barrier. But you lose it. That's my take. But yeah, Fulminate. Fulminate's the big one. So if Fulminate was fused with Lightning... Ooh, I don't know, it might be too small to read. Definitely... Is that a bit better? Maybe. So if Fulminate was fused... What am I doing? I literally have them here. Fulminate was fused with a Lightning card, attack action cards, you control gain, Go Again. Which again is one of the big things Runeblade suffers from, right? Is your ability to gain, Go Again. Anything that creates action points or embodiment, embodiment of Lightning is going to be kind of good, because again they shore up those weak spots for Runeblade and Wizard. Flicker Wisp to some extent probably seems really good. But yeah, basically the aforementioned. But we have Flicker Wisp, which is until the end of turn, attack action cards deal 1 extra arcane damage, right? So that's just stacking with Runeblade, so that's good. Flash Freeze, if it was fused with Lightning, attacks you control this turn. If they hit, deal an extra 3 damage. It's like Shock Charmers on steroids. And then Fulminate and Blink. Blink just being a way to generate action points off the card. Seems really strong, right? Runeblade, if you're taking aggro line, is already cheaper. So it being 0 cost, 1 card from hand, not too impactful, right? It's just on-demand Eloquence token, which, Chain has to jump through hoops to be able to get. So Blink is probably going to have relevancy in both. Again, Wizard wants more action points, more ways to get Go Again. But yeah, Fulminate, having Go Again seems really good. There was Channel as well. I think Channel is going to be the biggest sleeper hit. It's already risen by a lot. But, again, my analogy for it would simply be, if you could run it in Kano, would you run it in Kano? And to that extent, I think most people would say, yeah. Did I not get a copy? I guess I didn't get a copy. So, Channel, Thunder is Lightning, and then Whenever you play an action card, so remember, that covers both attacks and non-attack action cards, you may pay 1. If you do, it gains go again. Which, again, you take the gloves for Kano, that is pay 1, gain 1 damage. Would you rather gain 1 damage, or would you rather everything have go again? I think the choice is pretty easy to make in that scenario. So yeah, I would be grabbing some of these. Because I think both Runeblade and Wizard will desperately want it. I think Bride didn't matter, because again, you were focusing on real big things. Plus, she wasn't also lightning. Was she lightning? I always forget. Did Briar have 2 elements? I always go to think she's just Earth, and then I go, but everyone else was 2. But then I go, Briar, she's just Earth. And it always does my head in. I think she's just Earth. Is the odd duck out? No, she is lightning. Yeah, but again, Briar didn't want it because you were just either making the embodiment of lightning tokens, or you were just trying to do one big attack, basically. But for the lightning wizard, I would definitely expect it to have huge use. Because it shores up the one weakness that wizard appears to have most. God. I have a stack somewhere. Yeah, Briar always confuses me. Because I probably have seen lightning card be played. But it always feels like she just takes giant earth things to throw at you. And she just plays like Guardian instead of Runeblade. With the occasional, hefty ping. Alright. Overall, not horrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we ended up with 6 cold foils. Well, 7 technically. Only 1 M of the 6 boxes. No L, which does suck. But our salvation is we got the Fable. The Fable also seems interesting. So whenever you enter, it gains go again. Whenever a hero reveals a card, so Fuse, gain a resource or life. Next attack, gains +1. Next action card they defend with gains +1. And then as long as you've gained either a resource, resource, life, attack, or defense, right? So Embodiment of Earth covers the defense. Any of the buff cards covers that cost. There are a ton of life gain in Earth, and then just pitching something gains resource. It's a lot different to transcending the Mystic one, where you have to cover all 3. The fact that you only need to cover 1 means if you just take a deck that, pitches to defend, it should see use. What if we make Aether Arc come in for +6 and get 7 Ponders? Yeah. Oh, Ponder. There are a lot of wizard cards that are going to go up now too as well. Because I think it is insane enough, the basis that Wizard already has, just to throw in, again, lightning cards to gain go again. I mean, that channel, which I'm very surprised we didn't grab a copy somewhere, was everything. It wasn't lightning, yeah? Which basically means that, again, you just run 3 of that and normal wizard stuff. You put 1 on board and you just go nuts. That's the gist. And amp being a keyword as well is pretty insane. So yeah, my money for most broken hero out of the gate from it is gonna be Wizard. Whatever this thing is, he literally, to me, he needs to have 3 intellect. He needs to be Data Doll-esque. Otherwise, it's just crazy. Yeah. Wizard is just bonkers. Lightning, thematically, sure, seems cool, but it seems like the least thing. But I think a lot of us were expecting, like, fire to be introduced. When we go back to Volkner, right, with Dromai. The lightning wizard, god. Scary thought, whatever this mech thing is. What was the new channel card? I wish they'd put all the spoilers here. I have a goldfish memory about something sometimes. Horrible short term, great long term. Usually.
Only if you played a likely card this turn.
You know what? I might as well
Aurora's
do.
got a lot to do with introducing new players to Flesh and Blood. You'll hear more about that in the future. First impressions of Aurora.
It's gotta go again on the hero ability. It's gotta be pretty good.
That's a good place to start.
Do
All
that.
those extra chain links, we saw you do so very effectively.
So, yeah. Runeblade has create lightning, embodiments of lightning on demand. All you have to do is play lightning. Where's the card spoiled? Oh, it's probably after her. So channel lightning value. First time you deal damage to an opposing hero each turn, draw a card. So basically, if you get this on board and you get channel steep, Thunder Mountain steep, or whatever it is, right? You just have this insane turn. They have to print a ton more Arcane Barrier, right? So the expansion slot to me has to be printed with a decent amount of equipment for other classes that has Arcane Barrier but also useful effects, so they don't have to downgrade their equipment just to avoid damage. And then we also need a bunch of destruction, because having this stay around, having the steep stay around, that's an insane combo. I mean, those two cards, again, if Kano could run them, if you could just take a normal wizard basis and just have those two cards, that would be absolutely insane. It's going to be a bonkers set, one way or the other. Anyway, I think that'll do us. We've opened our tails, we've had our fun. Don't think there's anything else to really go over. Curious what this artwork is for. Right? Because if we compare it to like Partner Misfoul, that's Chi. But Chi had relevancy. I guess this could add relevancy. I haven't really read it. Is there any like nods about it? September, all arcane. Yeah, so they say it's the all arcane set, as well as the Return to Tails, Earth and Lightning only, new 2 class, 2 talent set structure. I think 24 full Marvel cards. Candles flicker. I'm not seeing anything overly relevant. So what it does mean is there'll be far less, well, I'd expect there to be Elemental Runeblade, Elemental Wizard, Lightning, and then Earth cards, right? And they try to strip it down as much as possible to make sure that, again, the draft experience goes well. Because if you tried to draft Tails, you're in for a bit of a pickle, right? The only reason it really works as well as it does is because they are dual class and they have that sense of overlap. So the fact that they're cutting down on that, they had to get rid of an element, and they have to get rid of maybe a set of cards. Maybe there are no Earth or Lightning. Maybe they do that to circumvent Fuse. Then we have the premiere in Tampa Bay. Again, I'm not a big fan of the structure, the 3-week window for a set, where it is just going to be absolutely scalped to death. Right, I think I'm also sick of I'm trying to not phrase it as scalping, but it is basically scalping. Right, you have lots of people who just do these events, do anything to get their hands on a certain amount of packs, because prices until the set actually hits its release date is going to be nuts, especially because this seems like it will be even stronger than Misfoul, and it's also, you know, beloved previous classes. Wizard is unsung in the community because it's never really had full traditional support like this, and Runeblade's always a classic. Play day, expansion slot, 15 cards. Again, I always want this to be way more than 15 and way more common as well. Right? Its whole purpose is to expand play, but at the same time, it's some of the hardest cards to get full sets of. I'm curious if we go back to lore cards as well. Again, 15 is too small for us to see just jovial cards thrown into the mix, nor reprints. So I feel like the expansion slot, despite its original blurb, is just strictly tournament play cards at this point. And then we have a massive 24 marbles that, well, we are, thanks to Daniel pointing it out, speculating two art. Just two art. I don't know how to phrase it. Double art for every hero, right? Because we have Aurora spanning from 6 to 8 with 2 different young hero versions, meaning that, 7 and 9 are probably 2 different adult versions as well. They're also really close together, which is also kind of weird, right? So it goes Runeblade, then Wizard, with Florian at 2, 3, 4, and 5 most likely, and then Aurora at 6, 7, 8, and 9. The tokens, we can probably think about that a little bit. So token-wise, we have Ponder, that's 1. Embodiment of Earth and Lightning, that's 3. Runechant, that's 4. That's still 10 tokens. 10 other tokens to figure out. Huh. That is insane. Equipment. We would expect 4 weapons. So that leaves 6. 6 other tokens to be something else. How many did Mistveil have? Mistveil had 12 tokens. What were... it's already gone. Spellbane, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, we already see Germinate is 4. Alright. So never mind. So Florian is 2, 3, Germinate. Aurora is 8, but we've already seen the Marvel is 6 because they showed us the front side of that. Which I'm surprised that wasn't added. Token-wise, already those 3. Plus again, Ponder, Spellbane, that's 5. 1 weapon for each. That's another 4, so that's 9. That still leaves 5 other tokens. We will do Mistveil. Ooh, it's part Mistveil, not M. Bobbles for drafting. So that makes... How many did we say? God. 5. 4 weapons. Bobble, 5. 6, 7, 8. 9 Ponder. I would absolutely assume Ponder if the Wizard's in it. And 10 for Spellbane. So 4 tokens away. 4 other tokens. Interesting. I wonder if we do see anything new. I'd say Eloquence, because they're kind of tying it to Runeblade. I mean, we can type in token and see. What might come about. Yeah, nothing's really clicking. These are all things that generate tokens. I mean, it's not that far out compared to Mistveil at 12. You know what we're forgetting? The heroes are tokens. God. So there's 4 young, 4 weapons. That's 8. Crack Bubble is 9. 10, 11, 12. Ponder and Spellbane. There we go. That's all 14. Right. So those are the 14 that I would expect. Yeah. We forgot about the heroes. Commons, rares, majestics, 1 fable, 5 legendaries, all the same. Again, the marvels is kind of crazy. Again, we gave our spiel about the recommended pricing. Never sticks. The bundle is back, still bundling. You get 1 extra deck this time. But is it 2 less packs? Or 1 less pack? Is it 1 less pack compared to Mistveil? I have Mistveil here, don't I? Yeah, so you get 1 less pack. Interesting. But you get 1 whole extra deck. Beautiful. Again, I I don't like. I feel like the Mistveil mat should have been updated. It shouldn't have been the old art. And then in Japan, they're back to being single. Yeah, and my take on this is it's just better for consumer in stores, right? Because it's not as available in Japan. This makes sense, being able to allow people to pick and choose. But here in, you know, where it's fully developed, you have people who go, well, I only want the Rune Blades, I only want the Wizards, and then stores are left with, you know, half a display, quarter of a display, and they have to order more because they want certain decks. Whereas this is an all or nothing system. If you want to buy the Blitz decks, you buy everything at once. Better for the store, kind of better for the consumer because you get, you know, the fancy stuff with it. I do like the gorgeous coloring. We're in autumn for Tails, right? Instead of winter. So curious if we get spring and summer. Other than that, I think we're good. I think that's everything. Right? Rainbow Folk Heroes, non-folk extended art exclusives. That's also kind of meh. Yeah. Alright, I think we'll leave it there. Rosetta. Interesting. But no, the art is kind of a little bit different in certain places, right? Like this, to me, is more fabish, and these are getting more stylized for the characters, and then this is just pop art, which is fine, seeing diversity. Seems like the 8 booster sealed is going to be the norm, yeah. It definitely seems like it's just funner. And they'll probably keep the deck size as well, right? So you always cut it back. Less packed, but extra deck. Overall, I think it's still a good deal, but I wish we also got the singular decks. Yeah, there's definitely people, again, who still want to buy singular decks. But, you know, it becomes rough on stores or distribution because you make single decks available for order. Do you make it, you know, you buy 4 of a single deck at a time, and that way you can cherry pick. Or, you know, it's a lot of confusion and questions that they're trying to cut out and streamline it. Because, again, we go back to product size, what's the word? Product range, right? For a store that picks up fab, you grab a Rosetta Thorn, the booster boxes. You're not meeting this price for starters, but at least with these additional products, they seem to be doing well. They seem to be hovering around the same price. You can usually get them for cheaper if you look around though, right? So in that sense, it's a better avenue. It's also, again, in terms of shelving, you wouldn't put this horizontal. Sorry, you wouldn't put it width-wise, right? You'd always put it lengthwise, which makes it take up more room on the shelf, which is always, you know, a big marketing ploy for any company, right? Is how do we make our product consume the most shelf space to deter other products from being nearby. If you wanna know the kings of that, it's Jack Daniels, by the way, with their obnoxious square bottles that come in, you know, God, how many ranges do they have? They have like 275, 325, 500, 750, 1 liter, 1.25, 1.5. Right? And that literally is just a whole shelf of Jack Daniels, let alone chucking in all the other special range Jack. Yeah. Overall, is what it is. Right? It would definitely be better if they kept the ranges open, but yeah. Still looks like a nice set, still liking and digging the color scheme. Just a little bit worried about Lightning. Because it feels like these are the two classes you wouldn't want to see Lightning. But then, again, if Ice is the other option, I guess we accept Lightning. Yeah, and it'll feel a lot worse because you'll have the premiere, then you'll have everything going on, and then you'll have when it actually releases 3 weeks later. Again, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this cycle. It's fantastic to have these big exclusive events, but at the same time, it definitely creates this weird lull for any release. Because if you're not a part of it, it feels like you're really far behind, right? Those extra weeks from after the spoiler season was completely done to waiting for Mistveil to come out, it seemed like the buzz was gone, in all honesty. There were less people talking and speculating because it was just play. And either you were part of the play or you weren't. Already made a list. Well, that's a beautiful thing about both of these, right? It's so synergistic for what Wizard and Runeblade wants to do. You just throw in the choice lightning cards, and you don't really need anything new yet. You could already make them quite strong. It's definitely, again, it's the same for every set. You'll have super hype, and you'll have lesser hype if this just isn't your thing. But I think they are balancing it and hitting quite a good range of the community with every release, trying to make sure there is something a little bit exciting for everyone. Anyway, it's lunchtime for me. People are going to complain about Earth having fatigue. Earth being fatigued. See, I don't know if it is, right? I think the main staple of Earth is Guardian. And we're seeing that transition of Earth to more Guardian-style plays without going into, heavy fatigue. Although you can, right? Where it's more about big things and being able to trade your turns where you recover life and you only block a little to then be able to do big things rather than, again, stalling out. Because you're having the banish mechanic now, right? With Decompose, rather than trying to cycle stuff back to your deck. So that's one little tweak they've already made to it. But it will still be fatigue. It won't be horrible fatigue, right? Where it's ice, where it's control fatigue. It will just be, hopefully, fatigue, which is fine. Yeah, I think I'm happy that ice is not here. I think control fatigue was, again, the worst deck in the game. You can have one or the other, but not both. So I do like the split of elements. Again, I think that was always the biggest power creep point for Tales, was that you had these weird mashups where, again, Ice Lightning, you had control with aggro. You had fatigue with control. You had aggro with big or aggro with fatigue, right? And they're not meant to be archetypes of the game. The whole point is you're meant to have that balanced system and not have that much overlap. You shouldn't have a deck that can do everything. Strabo, right? You should have to pick one. Your biggest biggest old-in player. Sorry, the chat's gone again, so I have to read off of the mini screen. It's really annoying. Biggest old-in player in its prime, yeah, fatigue sucks. I don't know, I never touched any of the elemental heroes, in all honesty. My excitement came from China, right? And even that, it's kind of weird because it's not in CC and it's a very weird deck. It is basically just Guardian with different things in it, right? That's China's feel at the moment to me. But yeah, I think fatigue is fine. I mean, I like fatigue Riptide. Actually, would you call it control with the traps? I suppose, actually, Riptide just strictly traps is kind of control fatigue. Because you can take enough cards to cycle stuff back and regain life. But yeah, they're definitely hitting out of the park of every sets. My biggest worry when they said all arcane was that it would have the same sort of feel as Bright Lights, where you'll have people who are super stoked about it, but then it will just be one-dimensional. And this is the perfect outcome. Bit sad that, it's not two separate sets, but at the same time, it's the best of everything in some extent. Question is, what comes next, right? And how do they continue the momentum? But I think this is a great set leading into the holiday period. And leading into, new season of play and everything like that. Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna have lunch. Anyone else got anything else to add? Before I do my whole spiel. We say, anyone hanging around? Thanks for watching. Anyone watching post? Thanks as always. I'm gonna go eat lunch. No? Good? Alright. Alright. I'm off. Yeah.